Motivation builds from external sources. But inspiration grows from within. What is going to push you to train despite failure? What do you ultimately want to feel? Pride in what you've accomplished? Acceptance that it won't always be easy? Serenity in moments of rest. Blessed that this is your life.
Left hand. That's good. So you feel is good. You tell me. So you feel is good. There you go. Knuckles down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2.
I ended up at a place on Bloor Street, and there was a man there named Ajahn Suchart, and he's the guy that about 30 years ago brought Muay Thai to Canada. So he had the kind of the first team and whatnot. So I met him and did a couple classes with him, and then shortly thereafter went through a breakup and ended up on a plane to Thailand. So it just kind of started from there.
Stop, stop. Kick it. Stop. To you. Two. Good shot. Chop it. Kick it. Lean. Muay Thai is called the art of 8 limbs because it's marketable. But beyond that is because we got 2 fists, 2 elbows, 2 knees, 2 legs. So for real layman's terms, we have 8 weapons. Through it.
Muay Thai is a art that is thousands of years old, a kind of pre-weapon. That's what the Thais used to fight the Burmese. They had everything that they had on their bodies. So they had their kicks, their punches, their knees, and their elbows, and that's how they fought wars.
Muay Thai is, for me, as far as striking goes, probably to me personally, the lead striking art. As far as all of them are out there. Like, boxing is great for footwork, but Muay Thai, you're using everything as far as weapons. So I don't think you can really get past that.
Elbow, kick it, hips. You gotta play a really athletic game with a really cool mind and a really calm heart. And that's what makes it damn near impossible to master. Now land.
Elbow?
Yeah.
Yeah, like learning to calm yourself, fighting with a cool heart is what they would call it in Thai. And, so you see everybody kind of like when they're hitting pads and going as hard as they can possibly to try to, and that's not it at all. So once you're able to find a cooler state or a calmer state, that's when the beauty of Muay Thai kind of comes out. It's the difference in range, in difference in speed of motion. It's finding out where your opponent is and how to move around them, how to bait them, it is a beautiful dance. Any of the bracelets that are around here were wishes that were from monks. So every time I go to Thailand, they give me, you go to Big Buddha and one of the monks ties it around you. And so you leave it on until it falls off. The amulets are from 2 of my different trainers. So this one is from Saishan Porpramuk. So this one is very, very special. It's really old. I find that anybody that I've met through the Muay Thai community, we all really need to be there for one another, and that kind of closeness and that kind of understanding of what people who do Muay Thai go through every day, the grind of it, and the love of the sport, it kind of brings us all together.
Elbow. Jab cross. Kick it. I think Ange and I mesh really well in the sense that she fucking loves hitting people, and she's really good at it, and I love watching people get hit. And so we get together, we have a really, really good time, and we work really, really hard, and we're on the same page in that sense. And when you've been doing something as long as she has, I think it's just being excited to go to work with the people you work with. Big elbow, go up.
He has a PhD in Muay Thai. He has studied it harder and with more love and with more drive than anyone that I've ever met. But he doesn't bullshit. Like, there's zero bullshit with him. And is it hard? Yeah, it's fucking hard. Is it amazing? It's amazing.
I always came back to fighting. I always came back to combat sports. It wakes me up in the morning. It puts me to bed at night. It's trying to get better every day in every way that I can in combat sports, and that's what drives me. And I think it's just who I am. You know, we don't make enough money to do this if it's not who you are. Like, find something else. Keep a serious face, Ange. Fun.
I asked your consent to fuck up your job. You did not ask my consent.
It's honestly energy. When I capture people, I am drawn to capturing movement because I find it such a tactile way that we show our energy. And so I've always been really drawn to dance and to anything that has that type of like rhythm and physical expression in it. And so that's also how I think I naturally ended up shooting fitness, was seeing people move intensity and energy through their physical form.
Perfect. Bring the speed down a little bit. Okay. Ready? Okay.
Ange is someone that I find creates best when you allow it to come from flow. So whoever she is at that day, it's best to go with that energy. If she's feeling strong, go strong. If she's feeling soft, go soft. And that's kind of how we've approached most of our shoots, is allowing where we're gonna be, who we're gonna be when we show up, and what we have once we get there to kind of like dictate what the outcome will be. It's been a lot more freeform. With Ange specifically, she likes to be challenged. She likes to have a little bit more of a sense of humor, and so like I'll push her, I'll like try and make her gas out, I'll kind of poke at her in the same way in which Evan does, and so we'll take cues from the things in which she is invigorated by and try and bring them in.
It's funny. I don't always walk down the street with my headphones off, but the other day I did. And, you know, because people like always comment on my tattoos, everyone's got something to say, and I usually just try to block it out. And one guy walked by me and he said, "Wow, you must really like pain, huh?" And I think I grumbled something like, "I can show you pain," you know, but I just kept walking. There must be something in the fact of tattoos making me feel better, that there must be something that I associate with pain and that leads me to believe that I'm healing.
Anxiety can manifest itself in a lot of different ways, right? That can be physical tension, that can be, you know, cortisol, which slows down your decision making. But I think when it comes specifically to Ange, is that there's so much pressure because there's Ange, and then there's what Ange represents to other people. And what Ange represents to other people, she can never be sore, she can never be tired, she can never get older, she can, you know what I mean? So that's a lot of pressure.
There are kind of two souls that you can have in that realm. Like, you have the soul that's gone through the mud and dragged themselves out and is, as a result, traumatized, and they are deer in the headlights, and they are just like so frozen in PTSD, and they are beautiful when you can tap into what they've got, versus the individuals that have gone through it and integrate it.
I think that movement saves lives. I think like art, like movement is contagious and is healing. So, you know, before it was kind of that fast movement and a little bit more erratic and a little bit more panicked. You know, do I think that my anxiety is worse post-concussion? Probably. When I first got my concussion, I was nauseous for probably 6 months. Nausea, vomiting, dizzy spells, all of that were really severe for a long time. I had a speech impediment for a little bit. My memory is still pretty bad. Cannabis helped with all of those things to kind of numb all of those symptoms.
It was post-concussion where we realized, like, she can't do, like, it was a little while, almost a year before she actually came around and could spar with some contact again.
I thought I was going to be a fighter until the day that I died. So when the concussions happened and all of that, you know, and that wasn't going to be a possibility for me, I went through a really, really, really dark phase, not knowing who I was anymore, because I'm like, I'm Angelina, I'm a fighter. I'm Angelina, I'm a fighter. And then I wasn't going to fight anymore. So who was I anymore?
Because there were days where she's like, oh, let's spar. And I'm just like, brain injury. Like, you got a brain injury. You got to chill out.
I just needed to relax just a little bit because I was just getting really tired and everything was kind of hurting. It was just like everything all at once. It wasn't a massive injury that started the weed consumption. It was just the fact that I was hurting so badly at night, and after sparring, I would toss and turn all night and I wasn't sleeping well. So I just needed something to really kind of help with the sleep. And then it trickled on from there.
Who's not smoking weed? Who's not taking edibles? Who's not using edibles and cannabis in conjunction with, you know, cryo and strength training and fucking float tanks? And if you're getting paid off how your body performs, chances are people are going to do whatever they need to do in order to get themselves in the best mental and physical situation to perform, right? So
from there, I just decided, like, I'm like, you know what, I just have to try something. It was either I need to go get some serious painkillers, which I didn't really want to do at all. I didn't want to hit the opiates. I didn't want to do anything like that. So, you know, I started with just smoking a joint, and then all of a sudden I was sleeping well. And then from there, you know, the appetite gets a little better. And once you're sleeping through the night, you know, the workouts are helping a little bit. So it took probably another year or two of kind of playing with that and playing with butters and oils until I started to realize that it could help with performance as well.
My name is Elias Theodore. I'm a professional fighter fighting out of Toronto, Canada. Some of the first-line medicines that I was forced to take or told to take, and my doctor intervened in regards to saying that this was literally just, you know, a fishing exercise. And those include codeine, Vicodin, oxycodone, tramadol, gabapentin, antitryptamine, podotrilamine, doxepin, imipramine, clamapramine, and desperpranin. I'm gonna butcher these names, but again, they also butchered my body.
Elias Theodoro, we haven't had a chance to say this on the broadcast, but last fight, UFC
There's
Ottawa.
something about the way he fights that there's a lot of tension. It's
with a record of 16 wins, fighting out of Toronto, Ontario. Ladies and gentlemen, here is UFC veteran, the main event, Elias the Spartan Theodoro.
I know I'm one of the best in the world, and I think I've helped prove it, and I'm going to continue doing that. And
I'm a huge believer in clean sport. I'm a clean athlete, and I always want to compete against clean athletes. And that's why when I was with the UFC, I couldn't have been more happy when they partnered with USADA, which is the United States Anti-Doping Agency. But one of the negative components of that was the fact that cannabis is considered a prohibited substance. So my medicine at that point was now considered essentially illegal. As a medical cannabis patient who uses cannabis to medicate for my condition of bilateral neuropathy, which is essentially nerve damage of my upper extremities. What they essentially wanted me to do was exhaust every other medicine under the sun. So all different ranges of opioids, antidepressants, and to the point where my doctor is looking at what they're telling me to take, and his answer would be, we haven't suggested this since the 80s.
Uppercut hook. No, back of the head. Bring that foot.
CBD really helps with the anti-inflammatory components of just taking it as a medicine. THC is very much for the pain management, and that's the aspect that I specifically need to manage my pain of bilateral neuropathy.
His story is very much what we all know of, right? And it's that unfortunate story of all of us have been offered the painkillers and the opiates, and we know how bad that road could get very quickly. Any athletes, you can kind of see what's happened with concussions, which leads to opiates, which leads to whatever, which leads to, we were all taught how to go harder. We just weren't taught how to recover or take care of ourselves.
I want you running me back to the 1-1-2.
Cannabis is not just for me as an athlete, but it's also me as a patient. And those two kind of are at odds if I'm not able to medicate as prescribed by my doctor. And that's what I've been fighting for, the ability to basically be on an even level. Because I'm at a disadvantage if I'm not able to take my medicine or another athlete with the same condition. Again, just the way in regards to the outdated mindset of this whole thing. Any fighter can be on Percocets before they fight.
Cannabis has several different cannabinoids. So, the two big ones that we know about so far, or that we've studied the most, are THC and CBD. So THC, a lot of people know, is psychoactive, so meaning that it can get you high. CBD technically is psychoactive as well, just like caffeine is, but it doesn't get you high. And a lot of people, do feel that they get the most benefit when they use the whole plant. And again, that would make sense because they're going to have more cannabinoids and more terpenes, and they're all going to work, either additively or synergistically together. A lot of people do get addicted to opioids, as we know, and a lot of people who get addicted to opioids are actually just taking it how it's been prescribed by their doctor. So a lot of people who come to my office and come to various different cannabis clinics, they're coming because they've taken opioids, they want to get off of them, and it has been shown that cannabis can be effective in reducing overall opioid use. I didn't have 1 second of cannabinoid training either when I was a medical student or as a resident. So I think that's where the real root of the problem is that it's not built into the curriculum, and because it's not built into the curriculum, the doctors don't trust it, and they also too they don't want to kind of put their own necks out on the line.
They also have a hose version as well. I also have that
Like
one.
a hookah version.
Yeah. It's a hybrid. So it has this feature, and you can do a hookah. You can really taste the terps that way.
It's really good.
Through my role with Athletes for Care and working with various athletes, what's really, really interesting is that there are people that are just coming out now, even with Elias, who just was able to get his therapeutic use designation recently. And a lot of them have been using, particularly the retired ones, have come to cannabis as a therapeutic option because they're so hurt from the sport, whether they were being pumped full of opioids or their bodies just really are beat up from the sport. And they're a group too who has had to fight for, fight the stigma against cannabis, to be able to say, you know, this is something that we should be using. A lot of them leave the sport with a lot of baggage, a lot of opioid addiction. It's wonderful that, you know, Ange is a part of that organization. Dr. Hart is a medical advisor for them. Elias is part of that group. And we find a lot of really great synergies in being able to connect all of those influencers together to help raise up that voice, to shine a light on cannabis as, again, a healing plant.
You know, cannabis is incredible medicine because you can in fact vaporize it and it can hit you immediately. So I just think that it's not highlighted as much as it should be, because you know, it is quite amazing that you can, you know, make the medicine come on fast or come on slow, or that you can even make it into a patch, make it into an oil, like make it into a vape. You know, there's so many different ways that you can use it.
There's such a significant connection between humanity and Earth that has been lost. It's truly the most fulfilling connection I have in my existence. That spiritual intimacy that you share when you're touching your plants every day and they understand your presence. It became, when I was younger, a curiosity, which I think, like with anything, eventually becomes like something you're into, you're interested in. I mean, it's just fascinating to see your intentions blossoming right in front of your eyes, right? There's a bond that's created, right? You're the protector and the overseer, and you're responsible for their feedings and ensuring that they're healthy. And you know, I get deeply affected if something's going wrong in my tents. If my gals aren't happy, I'm not happy. So there's a joy and a freedom and a bond when you grow any type of plant, I think, right? Look at these massive colas. Look at the beauty of that plant drawing up its nutrients. Like, those colors are only prevalent towards the end of the plant life cycle, stripping all the leftover salts from the base of the soil with a subtle, like, flush solution. This connectivity to who we're meant to be, who we are flowering into, right? What our life is meant to produce, right? This juicy, beautiful flower that is so complex and full of so much, you know, incredible flavor, aromatic structure, medicine. The medicine is literally sticking to your fingertips. You're just oozing with this resinous, thick, bulbous, powerful expression of product, right? That's what we are. I feel this connectivity through ingestion at an immense level. I implore everyone in the world to do as well.
We're so quick to give a pill. We're so quick to give something that was produced by a company overseas, but something that's grown in your own backyard that has been used since the dawn of time throughout all kinds of different civilizations in different ways.
It's time to step into the now. Now, cannabis isn't the answer for everything, of course. You know, that's ridiculous. But I think the stigma behind it not being a medicine is what you need to remove, right?
People need solutions and options. Cannabis may not be an option for all, but it needs to be considered as a tool for people to be able to help with these things. Doctors are really quick to prescribe an SSRI ahead of even considering cannabis, which is a plant-based option. So for me, I think as an advocate, it's helping to continue to destigmatize the plant as an option for a population with a huge mental health problem that's hurting.
Well, Blessed was kind of born because after I realized that how much cannabis could help me as an athlete, then when I started to kind of do the research as to what kind of edibles were on the market, there wasn't really anything that for me as a healthy athlete, there was nothing for me to consume that wasn't really super filled with sugars or GMOs, or wasn't like for my diet. I never wanted to feel like a drug dealer. I was just a girl making cookies. So in the beginning, the kind of reality for me was that I loved helping. I loved baking. I loved helping my friends heal. but I never really felt that I was meant to be cut out for like some hustle of something that was illegal as well.
But I would say over the last couple years and seeing her become part of Gallery Brands and really, work her own brand, the Blessed brand, I've really seen her grow on the business side with learning all kinds of things that normally she wouldn't have learned in the legacy market or in the ring.
With Blessed, you have a trusted individual who has, more than just her, goodwill and intentions in it. She's got blood, sweat, and tears, and a community, and drive, and a willingness to survive in the industry. So
now we realize that we can go to whatever LP we want to for the product that they make best. So like we find the best drink guys, we find the best chocolate guys, and we found the best gummy guys. So
I feel almost like simultaneously privileged and remiss to have not seen her hardest times. I didn't go to the green markets with her. I didn't see her struggle through that, but I did repeatedly get like homemade batches of beautiful pink donuts delivered in like a Ziploc bag for nothing, where like she was doing everything for trade and for energy and for love and with absolutely zero money, and having to work in a hair salon to make ends meet and making edibles for the love of her friends and the individuals around her that needed it.
Exactly how you are, and all I want you to change. Stay right there.
I think that Angelina and I both resonate with each other in needing our found family. And I think that's why we do have the connection that we do. That's so important, especially for individuals that off the top felt abandoned by the individuals that they were just given biologically.
I come from a really big family, but we haven't been the tightest. So sometimes you build your own. And that's what I did. So I've searched a long time to feel protected by a community and a martial art and by love is an incredible feeling. So like somebody like Evan, one of the most hard-headed people I've ever met, but he's pulled me off the floor a couple times. He's a real lifesaver. He's pulled me out of the girls' change room off of the floor, like for real. So he's seen me hit bottom and then has made me stand in front of him and be strong. I'm so grateful for that strength.
What do you mean a mimosa?
Mimosa strain.
Of cannabis? Mimosa strain of cannabis? No.
Yeah. It literally tastes like there's a...
Ange has become one of our best friends and, verging on family member, I would say, confidently. And we met her very early on. She was around this neighborhood as we were building out the space, and she was constantly kind of dropping by and helping us out at a time when we didn't really know anybody and needed a hand doing all types of random things.
There's a couple of really big lifesavers in my life, and Jessie was one of them. I found Jessie just at the right time when the concussion symptoms were bad, when the depression was bad, when all of that was happening, and getting me into the float tank and making me an athletic ambassador for float was really big on my mental state. So you come in and you wash all of the scents off of your body. You dry your face really well, and then you go in, and in here it's heated to the same temperature as your body. So you will float. It's very much kind of like going back to the womb.
What is Ange's drive? I mean, I think she's working on truly healing herself so that she can, you know, heal as many other people as she can and heal her community, right? Because look what she's doing, like, you know, harnessing her energy and her impetus and aligning with that plant. She knows that she can be successful herself, but she also knows that, more importantly, she can help a lot of people.
I think the word impetism, like the definition of it, defines Angelina on so many different levels, because the force that moves your body not only moves her, but it moves her entire life. And I think that word can extend to, it's her entire why. The reason that she moves her body is the reason that she lives, is the reason that she created Blessed, is the reason that she loves, is the reason that her heart is as big as it is. And so it's this cyclical environment of what Angelina is the force within her body is her entire being.
Some people were born to hit people and spread love, and that's kind of her thing. That's what she does. So I guess her engine is kind of like a shark. You know, if she stops kicking, she'll die. If the shark stops swimming, it'll die. So that's just who Ange is.
She has that fighter spirit in her, first and foremost. So when she applies that mentality to her businesses, it's like she's a winner. Like she's relentless.
I think her drive is just helping people. Like Ange is from I met her, that was the one thing I understood about her, was she's very, like, she's giving and caring. She's a nurturing person. Part of that is why we're Blessed is where it is. It's just that continue, go, 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 go. Sometimes I gotta tell her, yo, take a break, chill, relax, slow it down. But all in all, it's kind of needed sometimes.
I live for training. I live for my humans. I live for the energy that I get from that. And I think that it, you know, like cannabis training in my humans is all that like really kind of makes me tick, I think, you know. And now that my day isn't filled with like hair cutting and that sort of stuff, then after I get up and say good morning to the people that I love and get on my run, then my day is spent talking to athletes and talking about food formulation and, you know, talking to people like you. And I've somehow manifested a dream life. Like, who gets to do that? Whose job is it to wake up and smoke weed and tell me what you think about that strain? Like, that's okay, I'll do that. But I am fueled by the love of my humans. I am filled by happy souls around me that get to do the things that they love to do.